Jessica reporting to TM University News. Petroleum, the name given to the most important energy source nowadays. Petroleum, or crude oil, is a naturally occurring liquid found in the formations in the earth consisting of a complex mixture of hydrocarbons, mostly alkanes, of various lengths. This oil is a naturally occurring, is sometimes present in porous rocks, beneath the Earth's surface. Petroleum is formed by the slow alteration of organic remains over the time. Here are some of the ways petroleum is used in our everyday lives. All plastic is made from petroleum, and plastic is used almost everywhere. In cars, houses, toys, computers, and clothing. Asphalt used in road construction is a petroleum product, as is the synthetic rubber in the tires. Paraffin wax comes from petroleum, as do fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, detergents, phonograph records, photographic film, furniture, packaging materials, surfboards, paints, and artificial fibers used in clothing, upholstery, and carpet baking. And I could keep going with the list and never finish. But petroleum is used principally as a source of fuel and lubricating oils. Only when the supplies are restricted or threatened does the average person begin to realize their importance. And talking about an average person, here's an interview I made to a streetwalker. Do you consider petroleum important in your life?
Yes, it's really important.
Why do you think this way?
Because I believe it's the most important source of energy and used almost everywhere.
Do you think it will end if we keep using it without caution?
Yes, people are not conscious about caring and preventing, but I believe in Earth's sustainability, which consists on taking care of our resources in order to keep enough for future generations.
But as you said, it will end someday. So, do you know any alternative to petroleum for fuel production?
I have heard about solar energy and some others which I think are really interesting.
This was an average person giving an opinion of our present situation. But wait! I'm getting some information from my partners of something interesting you must heard. Something called, the electric cactus? Is that right? Yeah, is that right? Okay, the electric cactus. So here I left you with this video.
You want to know who I am? I'm a dreamer.
Mario Llanes dreams about a world that runs on clean energy. The Chilean ecologist turned entrepreneur says when he first started, people used to call him crazy.
It was a very good incentive to continue until today. Today, if somebody called me crazy, I say yes.
And Llanes definitely has visions. He looks at this patch of cactuses and he sees
Bioenergy. You must to see here bioenergy, not plant. Now we capture the sunlight with this plant. This plant produces methane. This methane produces electricity. This is the plan. This is the dream.
Meet Opuntia ficus indica. Americans call it prickly pear cactus. Chileans call it tuna. Llanes calls it
miracle plant, if you want it. It's a miracle plant.
Llanes studied the miracles of the cactus while getting his degree in ecology at the Universidad de Chile 20 years ago. Just like other energy crops, corn and sugarcane for example, Opuntia is extremely efficient at turning the sun's energy into sugar. But it's adapted to thrive in the desert, where most energy crops can't grow.
This is a very dry land, very dry weather. But look the green of this plant.
So the cactus doesn't compete for water or space needed to grow food, and it grows like wildfire. Each individual pad is a new plant. So each plant is many more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
But transforming cactus into energy reality is another matter. Llanes first went to Germany to get help developing large-scale cactus biogas. But more than anything, he needed someone to buy it. He found his dream client in Codelco, Chile's state-run copper company. It's the biggest copper company in the world. You see, copper is the way the world transmits energy, but it takes a lot of energy to produce it. Codelco has two issues. The gas it uses to fuel its factories has gotten more expensive, and its operations eat up a massive amount, 13% of Chile's total electricity output. So it's been hunting for more efficient, cleaner ways to operate. Richard Alwyn is in charge of energy efficiency and energy alternatives at Codelco.
And one day, 2005, Marianes came into my office and told me about this possibility of using biogas in our processes. He had this idea, this crazy idea of planting cactus to produce it. But for me, it was not crazy because I had had previous contact with José Toa at the University of Chile.
Professor Jose Toa was the first to discover that Opuntia was a source of bioenergy. Actually, it was an accident. Toa left a piece of cactus in a sealed beaker and forgot about it. A few days later, the beaker had exploded. Without oxygen, organic matter breaks down and releases the energy stored in its biomass as natural gas. All plants do it, but some do it better than others. Professor Toa had discovered that Opuntia was one of the best. Toa taught his students all about the wonders of the cactus, including both Llanes and Alwyn.
If I hadn't had previous experience with José Toa, maybe I would have said no to Mario Llanes. It was not easy to convince people at Codelco how they looked at me and said, well, you are crazy. We are not going to plant cactus. We had nothing to do with agriculture. So it was difficult, but finally we got there.
Actually, they're not quite there yet. They just started planting, but in a year, they plan to have 600,000 cactuses producing biogas. They'll contribute 5% of Codelco's natural gas needs at its Ventanas facility, 90 miles from Chile's capital, Santiago. The middleman who's helping bring Mario's technology to the scale that Codelco needs is a company called Schweiger Biogas. They're investing millions of dollars into developing the land, the machinery, and the best practices to produce biogas from cactuses. But they're still not sure it'll pay off. Sandro Raji is the CEO.
We don't know how in the real world works the Puntia, okay? This is our risk. This is our innovation of the project. We are making some innovation, and if this works well, will be a biomass that doesn't compete with food productions. If you go through the whole world of biogas, not only in Chile, but in the whole world, you cannot find any project that use Opuntia. This will be the first one.
Being first requires thinking big, and that's what Mario Llanes does best.
You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm nothing, only one. I hope someday you will join us. Something like this is in John Lennon. To be an entrepreneur in an undeveloped country, you must be a dreamer. But I hope that I'm nothing, only one.
As you heard, this plant, also known as cactus, which will get us to electricity, or ecological electricity, in my opinion, really interesting, and maybe the invention of the future, mostly because Mexico is the main country where cactuses grow. Maybe this will change the way we live and see things nowadays. Reporting to TM University News, Jessica Landero. Sources, Ana Laura Mata. Video, Genaro Salazar. And images, Celestino Vela. For your enjoy and knowledge, thank you for your attention.